Esther was a young girl who lived in a small, struggling town where kindness was rare. Every day, she walked past the same beggar sitting on the cold sidewalk, his clothes torn and face hidden beneath a hat. Many people ignored him, but Esther's heart could not. One chilly morning, she quietly approached him with a small loaf of bread and some warm soup she had made. Please take this, she said softly. Don't miss this incredible story. It's a true, hidden gem. The beggar looked up, surprised by her kindness. His eyes were kind yet mysterious, and he nodded silently, accepting the food with trembling hands. Esther did not expect anything in return. For her, it was just a small act of compassion in a world that often forgot people like him. Days passed, and Esther kept bringing food whenever she could. She never asked questions. She simply wanted to help. But what Esther did not know was that this beggar was no ordinary man. He was hiding a secret that would change her life forever. One rainy afternoon, as Esther handed him a hot meal, a sleek black car suddenly stopped nearby. The man, dripping wet, looked up and whispered, "Thank you." Before Esther could reply, he disappeared into the shadows, leaving only a faint smile behind. What Esther did not realize was that the man she had been feeding was a billionaire in disguise, testing the kindness of strangers. The moment they truly met was about to come, but Esther was completely unaware that her simple act of generosity had already set an incredible journey in motion. Days after that rainy afternoon, Esther's life seemed to carry on as usual. She went to school, helped her family, and kept visiting the streets to bring food to those in need. But something was different. She felt a strange pull, like her small acts were connected to something much bigger. One evening, as she walked home, a man in an expensive suit stepped out from behind a corner. "Esther," he said gently, his voice calm but serious. She stopped in her tracks, surprised he knew her name. "I have been watching you," he continued. "Your kindness has touched me more than you know. I am the man you have been helping, the one you thought was just a beggar." Esther's heart pounded, unsure whether to trust him. He explained that he was a billionaire who had lost faith in people. To find someone truly kind, he disguised himself and tested those around him. When Esther showed no judgment or hesitation, only compassion, it gave him hope. "I want to help you," he said, "not because you helped me, but because you deserve a chance to change your life." Esther felt a wave of emotions: shock, disbelief, hope. Could this be real? Or just a cruel trick? At that moment, she had no idea how her world was about to shift. The man's next steps would open doors she never imagined, but also bring challenges she had never faced. Esther sat quietly, still processing the unbelievable truth the man had just shared with her. A billionaire. The very man she had offered a warm meal to on a cold, rainy night was someone so wealthy and powerful that she could hardly imagine his life. For a moment, she wondered if it was some kind of trick or joke. But there was a calm sincerity in his voice, a quiet humility that touched her deeply. He was genuine. He began to explain more about himself. His name was Charles, and he had inherited his family's business empire years ago. Yet, despite his wealth and influence, something inside him had grown empty. He had built a foundation to help the poor, but over time, it had become more about money and numbers than about people. Meeting Esther, someone who showed kindness without any expectation, reminded him of why he had wanted to help in the first place. "I want to work with you," Charles said quietly, his eyes steady. "You have something I lost, a heart that truly cares. Together, we could make a real difference, not just with money, but with love and understanding." Esther felt a mix of excitement and fear. How could a girl like her, who had struggled to get through each day, be part of something so big? She had no experience, no education, no status. But deep down, she knew this was an opportunity she could not ignore. If there was even a chance to help others like herself, people forgotten by society, she had to try. Over the next few weeks, Esther's life changed in ways she never imagined. She was introduced to a world of elegance and influence. Lavish offices, important meetings, and well dressed strangers became her new normal. Charles was patient and kind, always encouraging her to speak up and share her ideas. He listened when she talked about the struggles she saw on the streets, about people who needed more than money. They needed hope, dignity, and respect. Despite the grandeur, Esther never forgot where she came from. She made sure to visit the neighborhoods she knew well, to listen to the stories of those still struggling. She wanted their voices to be heard. But the higher she climbed, the more she realized not everyone welcomed her presence. Some board members and associates whispered behind closed doors, questioning why a simple girl with no pedigree was suddenly influencing a billionaire's decisions. Jealousy and suspicion began to swirl around her. Some saw her as a threat to their power and influence. They tried to undermine her, casting doubt on her motives and abilities. Esther felt the pressure mounting. Would she be strong enough to stand her ground? Could kindness and sincerity truly hold their own in a world driven by money and manipulation? Every challenge tested her resolve. But Esther remembered that night when she had simply offered food to a stranger, not knowing it would change both their lives forever. That small act of compassion had sparked something bigger, a chance to rewrite her story and the stories of countless others. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with obstacles and unexpected turns. Yet Esther was determined to prove that true wealth was not measured in dollars, but in the power of a caring heart. Her journey was only beginning, and the next chapter would reveal if kindness could indeed conquer the harsh realities of the world. Esther knew the road ahead would not be easy. The whispers and cold shoulders from some board members grew louder, and meetings often felt like battles. Yet, she refused to back down. She had seen too much suffering, and now she had a platform to fight for change. The kindness she showed that rainy night was no longer just a small act. It was becoming a movement. Charles stood by her side through it all. His quiet strength gave her the courage to keep pushing forward. Together, they launched new programs focused on empowering people from the streets, not just giving handouts, but providing education, jobs, and dignity. Esther made sure their voices were part of every plan. Slowly but surely, the company's mission transformed from profit-driven to purpose-driven. One day, after a long board meeting filled with skepticism, Esther returned to the neighborhood she loved. She walked past familiar faces, many of whom were still struggling, but a few stopped to smile and thank her. A mother told her that her children had enrolled in a new school funded by Esther's programs. A young man shared how he had gotten a job and was now able to support his family. Tears filled Esther's eyes. This was why she had fought so hard. Despite the challenges, Esther had grown stronger, more confident. She realized that true power was not about wealth or status, but about lifting others up. Charles, once distant and lonely, had found new purpose through her passion and warmth. They became more than partners in business. They became family, united by a shared dream. News of their success spread. More people joined their cause, inspired by Esther's story, the girl who fed a beggar and ended up changing a billionaire's heart. The once cold corporate world began to soften, making room for compassion and hope. Years later, standing on a stage in front of thousands, Esther spoke with quiet pride. Kindness is never wasted, she said. One small act can change a life, and when we choose to see each other's worth, we can change the world. Her journey from a simple girl with a warm heart to a leader with a powerful voice was proof that anyone could make a difference. Esther had learned that true wealth came not from money, but from the love and courage to help others. The beggar she once fed was no longer a stranger, but a lifelong friend who had shown her the meaning of generosity and grace. As the crowd applauded, Esther smiled, knowing her story was just the beginning. There were many more hearts to touch and lives to change, and she would be ready, with kindness leading the way. If this story touched your heart, do not leave without subscribing. This channel brings you true tales of hidden strength, second chances, and life changing moments. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us because the next story might just change the way you see the world.